Anin Bosho. Miigwech for checking out our Indigenous Education Department newsletter and for taking the time to check out my video. In my short message that I want to share with you this month, in keeping with the overall focus of our newsletter, being really about bringing that reconciliation into the classroom, bringing that reconciliation through that continued learning. I wanted to just really encourage you and empower you, support you about, stepping out of your comfort zone. When we think about stepping out of our comfort zone, it can feel exciting to some, but it can feel really scary to others. And but I guess that's what I'm wanting to say is that, when we step out of our comfort zone, even though it might be uncomfortable and scary, and we have to dig deep for that courage to take some of those risks of what that means and how that feels. But let me tell you, it just makes such a difference. It really has the opportunity to open doors within your classrooms that can make such a difference. And I know that there are so many of you out there that really are doing that work. You are out of your comfort zone, and you're doing amazing jobs with the work that you're doing. And I know that because I've had the privilege of chatting with some of you, being in your classrooms personally, virtually, and I have seen firsthand that work. And I know there are some of you that are just ready to take those steps, those beginning steps into that, embedding that Indigenous perspective throughout the curriculum in your classroom. And there are some that are partway along the path in that work. And so I thank all of you. And but I just want to encourage you and share with you the ripples, those good ripples I'm always talking about that can be made. I've seen throughout the years of my career many times when I've had the privilege of being in a classroom, and even more recent of times, still even virtually, I've had this experience where within my visit, within the things that I'm sharing and teaching as a guest speaker, where an Indigenous student will say, that they are of Indigenous background, they're First Nation, they're Métis, they have some Indigenous ancestry, and they will feel so proud that they'll say that right in the middle of that class. And sometimes, and many times, the teacher themselves were unaware of that because that hadn't been shared before. But that came about because they felt empowered. They saw something reflected in that visit of mine that that just brought that out in that good way, and they're just so proud about that. So stepping out of your comfort zone and being able to really work with that Indigenous education and embed that into your curriculum, that's what that can do. And I've seen it also with non-Indigenous students who, it's really helped create awareness for them. Some situations where, a student maybe thought that Indigenous people were something of the past, something that we're kind of no longer here. And so that awareness that, wow, Indigenous people are still all around us. And so that's something important as well. And, through some of those teachings and stories and the sharing and the Indigenous ways of knowing and perspectives, and, that has also really created some really good conversations with non-Indigenous students in terms of the ways that of looking at things. And so imagine at the end of the day when those students go home, when the Indigenous student goes home, who, felt so proud, and could go home and take that pride home from something that was shared in their class in that day. As well, think about the non-Indigenous student that goes home, who is bringing a different perspective back, into their home, connected to Indigenous people, that maybe breaks a pattern, from the generation of their parents and the generation of the grandparents and so on, that maybe those family members didn't get to learn, and so that's a real incredible opportunity that can be given to all students across our board. And that just can come from something as important as you stepping out of your comfort zone to be able to provide that and create that opportunity. So that's what I wanted to share with you is, and you know what, when we talk a lot about our grandfather teachings, and the one that comes to mind is that teaching of bravery, of courage, Octaoin. And you know, that teaching of calling upon our brave heart. And so you know what, so call upon that brave heart and take that step out of that comfort zone. And I always find that once we step out of our comfort zone and we get our footing and we get our bearings and we feel that support and we're thinking, okay, this is working, and I'm learning so much and I'm sharing so much more. And then pretty soon it feels pretty comfortable. So then, you need to be able to take that next step and step back out of your comfort zone yet again. Always keep moving in that direction of stepping out of the comfort zone, because that's where the most learning comes from. That's where the most growth comes from. So I really want to just encourage that and in this message. I also wanted to share a quote from Murray Sinclair. It's one that I'm sure I've shared many times, but it's a good one. That we have described for you the mountain. We have shown you the path to the top. We call upon you to do the climbing. I think that really fits well with that thought of going out of your comfort zone. We call upon you to do the climbing up that mountain, to bring that reconciliation into your classroom, into your schools, to be a part of that, to do that all in a good way. And to know that, keep checking back into our monthly Indigenous Education Department newsletter. And, there's many of us, on that team. Reach out to us, and that support can be offered to you. Our support will be there to the best of our ability. And let's just keep working together. Let's just keep working together and be those change makers to keep making a difference. So remember, the support is there. We're here for you outside your comfort zone. Miigwech.